This video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon. Hi guys, I'm here with a video showing you how I did all of the dyeing for my Pennywise cosplay. I'm just making this a quick video and not including it in the main ones because it's used in a few different costume pieces, and I'm also not 100% happy with how it turned out, but I still wanted to show the process to talk about some of the things I would do differently in case that is helpful to anyone. So I started off by following the instructions on the dye packet. Roughly, I won't lie, I did kind of guess at the measurements a teensy bit, but not anything too drastically. I put the amount of water that they said in and then poured what looked to be about like half the packet or however much it said for that amount of water. Anyways, I don't think that's where anything went wrong. The color turned out about what I expected it to be, so it's nothing too bad. The next part is where I think I messed up. So I tried to do that thing where you do a dip dye gradient to the fabric to get a nice gradient from the color that the fabric originally was to the color you are dyeing it by dipping in the fabric and just for like a really short time, like just about 30 seconds or so, and then pulling it out a little bit, not all the way out, and letting the lower half sit in a bit longer, pulling it out a little bit more, letting the lower half sit a few more minutes, and then you just continuously do this so that the dye soaks longer and longer towards the bottom, making it darker and darker and darker. However, I didn't test my fabric before this, and I'm pretty sure that is where I messed up. Actually, I know that's where I messed up. I just didn't test my fabric. It turns out this fabric really likes to soak up the dye, and it really likes to just take the dye, so doing a gradient didn't really do anything because just dipping it in for a few seconds made the fabric just take that dye really, really well. So as you can see in this clip, you can see that red just creeping up, and here you can now see just how far it went up. It went up way too far, way farther than I wanted. I was in a rush though, so I didn't bother testing the fabric. Basically what I'm saying is always test your fabric before you dye it. I didn't. Anyways, I then rinsed it out, just accepted my loss. If I did this differently, I would have just put it so that less of the fabric was in the dye and just left it, never like pull it out little by little or anything like that, because it does soak up and create its own gradient all by itself. So I would have just let that happen. I didn't though. So to try and correct it a little bit, I mixed a little bit of acrylic paint with a lot of water and then dabbed that along the edge of the fabric and used more water to blend it up into the dye area so that I got a darker gradient going on. And yeah, that's all I did for this video. I hope that learning from my mistakes was helpful. I don't recommend you follow this when making your own Pennywise cosplay. I'm sure there are better videos on how to dip dye fabric out there. And in the future, maybe I will make one where I actually do it correctly. But for now, this is what I got. This is how I corrected my dye disaster and made it look, I think, okay or slightly better. Thanks for watching, have a lovely day, and stick around to see the other Pennywise videos where things actually go right.